against all the evil that hell can conquer.
Woo! Hi, demon of internet!
The Lord of Blood demands supplication. And in the course of supplication, the Lord allows little in the form of mercy.
I got a good build for you here today. Something clean, something simple, something bloody, something beautiful. You see, good builds can have optimal as well as off-meta setups. A wide variety of stat spreads have potential for success, unless you're a light roller. And depending on the slice of the build-making pie you put on your plate, you can go incredibly deep with a very simple build. Today's Belmonk build is the classic MOHG build, 24 strength, 18 dex, and more arcane than an Albinoric orgy in MOHG's palatial penthouse. Strength Arcane is an interesting hybrid, because as with most arcane builds, you want to pump the arcane stat as high as possible for bleed buildup and damage on Occult. This means that, for builds like this, I prefer capping strength at your necessary requirements and putting the rest into that hot blood stat. I killed them when they fucking grabbed me! The main weapon I used was a bleed Zweihander with 2 hands for safety. I tried bleed Gugs. You don't really need Gugs on the build. Zweihander has as much build-up and the difference isn't really enough to justify the extra points in strength. Putting more arcane on the build also makes every other weapon on the build better. The big upside to Strength Arcane, especially with Colossal Swords, is that the bigger the weapon, the bigger the build-up. This means you only need a few hits or phantom procs from your Zwei to get that juicy bleed. And you want that bleed proc. You have a need for bleed. Going full brew mode, I decided to throw BRAGGART'S Roar on the Zwei. Not only is the increased damage, absorption, and stamina regeneration all very clutch, but when buffed from Braggart Roar or Warcry, the unique R2 true combos into a neutral R1. Add bleed in the mix and you are throwing out one-shot damage and bleeding phantoms in one combo. Yeah, that's right folks, it's me, Belmonk, sitting here trying to sell you Colossal Swords again. Why not Zwei? It's a beautiful sword with a beautiful hitbox, and if you haven't tried the Bleed Zwei, I recommend it as a fantastic combination of weapon and infusion that is incredibly fun and rewarding in invasions. Back to that true combo though. It's spicy, no doubt. Tough to hit sometimes though. The hitbox is very narrow and a lot of the time you whiff or get aim punched. It's slow, reactable, and costs a ton of stamina. If you are in negative stam when you hit the R2, you won't get the true combo and you're pretty much guaranteed to be tossed in a blender like a PvE doing Vari's quest at Boypron Shack. But it's a hoot. And isn't that what the game is all about? Trust me, if the R2 isn't working, the Bleed Zwei has more than enough power to hang on its own in an invasion. The Roar just gives it that little something extra that MOHG builds are all about. Mash L2, Mash L2, Mash L2! What, you thought we forgot about MOHG? Mash! Yeah! I love the range and burst damage of Power Stance MOHG, but even more than going CL1 Vortex crazy with this build, I kneeled. Nihil, nihil, nihil. That's right, my little moggies. We've been spamming MOHG's big red orb. You run out of room, laddie! All over the lands between. And with so much success, I gotta say, I've underrated this. Can you believe they nerfed this thing, and substantially, a few patches ago? It's been downgraded from full-on cheese to merely busted. Hyper armor, poise sticks that stun, decent damage over time, and of course, that bleed. That juicy, juicy bleed. They call it the big red circle for a reason, and I'm not talking about the Kool-Aid man. Blood Moon Ritual creates an area of effect in a large sphere around the player. This means you can use it to corner trap, kill people on ladders, and pressure campers waiting above or below you. Because this thing can deal so much damage so quickly with the bleed procs, unsuspecting teams will be walking, sniffing daisies 1 minute, exploding blood from every orifice in their precious tarnished bodies the next. It's truly an annoying Ash of War to fight against, but as an invasion tool, it's A1 steak sauce, baby! This is one of the biggest draws to a strength Arcane build. While Dex Arcane has very little in the way of effective AoE Ash of Wars other than spinning slash on a twin blade, Blood Boon Ritual gives MOHG users a catch-all tool that can be used strategically to pick off unsuspecting PvEers, or as an effective hyper armor stopper that can shut down aggression and act as premium area denial. So we have our usual Colossal Greatsword and a nice hyper armor Ash of War to swap to. Those seem good, you might be saying. Decent, but not amazing. So, what else you got, Bleed Boy? Yeah! Well, if you want something truly disgusting, go no further than Occult Raptor Talons with Endure. Because of the true combos available on Raptor Talons, you get delicious, guaranteed bleed buildup, and the proc gives you even more burst damage on top of the combos. The base AR isn't transcendent, but it doesn't matter. Use these to punish flasks or just delete a phantom that's annoying you a lot. People like all flavors of Raptor Talons. Lightning, cold, even physical infused with Blood Flame Blade. All valid, all punishing, but I think that this is my favorite build to use them on. It gives you a viable one-shot against Rune-Arced hosts or fat-ass phantoms, and if you ever get tired of trying in invasions, you can just equip these for easy mode results. Rivers of Blood swap is another obvious but top-tier choice. I should be a ganker because I love Moonveil and Rivers of Bolborough far more than your average sweaty invader. Maybe it's just the appeal of equipping every PvEer's favorite crutch and using it in their face. This is a great swap for roll catching or finishing off an unsuspecting aggressor with a massive trade, but out of all its silly uses, my favorite has still got to be pulling it out on any of the innumerable white mass morons stumbling around with their left index finger crooked and their brain leaking from their ears from mashing L2 since the game came out. I can't wait for the DLC, folks. Yes, there will be a new Rivers of Blood, but at least it won't be, you know, Rivers of Blood. The last few instruments of invasion and mortality I'm showing off today are a bit more niche and off meta, but I found both to be viable in meta level invasions. The first, everyone's favorite unfair fist, the Barbie Roar Katar. Continuing on the path of emphasizing true combos with bleed, the Barbaric Roar R2 true combo is a fantastic turn and burn tool in invasions. It can trade with a single colossal sword, and if you can catch a few people in the combo, you'll be stun locking their asses into a funky dance and adding up status towards their inevitable popping like a blister. Adding that on top of the running R2 to R2 combo and the ridiculous chase down and forward momentum of the running R1s, and you have a setup that's not just great at starting the bloody party, but finishing it as well. The big downside to the bleed Katars is, again, the AR isn't fantastic. But greeting for bleed is the name of the game on an Arcane build, and with the number of true combos and phantom hits from your aggressive moveset, you're able to pressure with enough damage to end invasions quickly. Woo! GG! Finally, we reach a more experimental setup than all of the above, and something that I had a lot of fun playing with, the POWERSTANCE Occult Scavenger Curve Swords. POWERSTANCE Curve Swords are a bit of a funny weapon setup. The multi-hits and forward momentum of the running L1 is excellent for chase down. It is a difficult attack to roll properly, which means if you're running down a low health opponent, they need to roll perfectly, or God forbid, parry you to survive. The jumping L1, on the other hand, has almost no range and is difficult to connect with. The standing neutral L1s chain together well and have okay range, but I found that the R1 is effective as well, and the running R1 makes for a decent mix-up from the running L1. Other than that, you're on your own, so it might be on the Ashes of War to save this one. Poison Mist on the offhand is decent for extra status pressure, and a move that can quickly give you access to a hyper armor trade. Sword Dance or Spinning Slash in the main hand is most likely optimal. Sword Dance gives you hyper armor and excellent roll catching, and Spinning Slash wins trades and gives you big status build up to keep on the aggression. I didn't win a crazy number of invasions with this setup, but it was an interesting and challenging one to try. I haven't used Power Stance Cursed Swords much. While dual Occult Scavenger Swords are an older build than Stilovsky with the Rune's Greatsword, the chase down and rapid bleed potential of these make them bloody fun weapons indeed. Thanks for stopping by. If you enjoy the content, like and subscribe. If you hate the content, like and subscribe so you know when to flame me. Before I leave you with this last invasion, I wanted to leave a very important message to those of you who have made it to the end of this video, because I imagine, in some way, that you care about this PvP, as do I. The DLC is about to completely destroy our minds, as well as our bodies. The game that we know now is only a small glimmer of the game that we will soon understand, and along with all that unpredictability, there's a massive amount of hype. With hype comes noobs, and with noobs come tender hosts in the dawn of their PvP careers. I'm not talking about invaders hand-holding new hosts. I'd rather crash my car into the lake of rot. What I'm talking about is the attitude surrounding the game. We have our issues with this game, rightfully so, and we will continue to maul and make those issues known. But I do believe in Elden Ring PvP. I believe it can change, and for the better. I believe on the other side of broken things are patches and more balance. And because Elden Ring PvP is by far the most fun I have ever played playing a video game, and has given me the pleasure of meeting all of you, my dear friends, I believe that it does hold something special for us in the future. But as for now, we can only wonder. In the meantime, let it be known, the invasion system is the singular most innovative and important multiplayer gaming mechanic to be implemented since the Magnavox Odyssey. Let's hope that From Software doesn't squander what they have. If they pull this off correctly, you'll be ganking me for years and years to come.
Bullshit blazing, still my heart is blazing. If the words kill me, I don't need a new one under you. Soon you will know, we already know the smell of the game.
Yep, nah. I couldn't save my host! Wow, insane. 88 points.
That is bullshit blazing.